What's up, man?
I was waiting for you. I was going to jump in.
I gave you a shot. I gave you a shot.
I deferred to you. Paulie, it's good to see you, man.
Welcome to the Crucible Podcast. Good to see you, my friend.
I'm wondering when Prime is going to finally sponsor you, bro.
I don't know.
I'm waiting for it. Prime or the Lions?
Listen,
I'm not sure. Somebody.
Go Lions, right? Go Lions.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
go. We are, what are we? We are Wednesday, January 17th, and we're looking at a second playoff game.
That's nuts, man.
Sunday,
first time in how long?
Look, we won our first playoff game, the first time in 32 years we've been waiting for this, and it happened in the city of Detroit, dude. For the 2 days after, I'm listening to the radio stations and just holding back, and this is the honest to God truth, holding back tears of joy because we've been through it all, man. We have been, as far as Detroit as a sports town, the Red Wings, the Pistons, the Lions, the Tigers, we've been kicked so many times, and people just write us off as the same old Lions. They got a saying in Michigan, SOL, same old Lions, same old Lions. I tell you what, man, that game came down to the last 4 minutes. They had to punt the ball away to us, and you're still, I mean, there's a picture my wife took of me. I'm standing in my living room like this, watching the TV, just hoping that the SOL can just be dead and put away. And they proved it, man. They won it. They won the game. We're moving on. Playoffs, we are officially part of.
All right. So for the listeners or viewers, if you hear Paulie hoarse, it's not because he's sick. He was just screaming.
No doubt. Yeah, man. It was, and we were talking about it just before we started. I said, I don't know what's going on, but I got something going on down here deep in my throat, and it's just not healing. Yeah, but man. No, I feel good. We're looking good, man. Looking good.
Cool. So today, all right. So let's do some logistics real quick, guys. If you're new to the Crucible, welcome. I'm Emil. Hello. We got Paulie, and we run our respective channels, and we're doing this here together. Got big things coming. So we have a fantastic giveaway. You guys have probably already seen it. There it is. Yeah, there it is. That is the 5-ounce wood poured silver round. You can get that. How do you get it? By entering one of 3 ways, right? We got 3 ways to win.
3 ways to win.
Paulie, do you remember the 3 ways to win?
I don't have a sticky note, and I know you do. Yes.
Sticky note.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Crucible Podcast right here on YouTube. You can also go to our Instagram page.
That's at the Crucible Podcast. Yeah.
That's at the Crucible Podcast.
Yeah. So YouTube was at the Crucible Podcast. And then the last one would be go on the website and go to www.cruciblelive.com. And that's where you're going to find the ability to sign up for our mailing letter. We don't send off too many, 1 or 2, maybe 3 a month. So you're not going to get spammed, and we don't sell your information either. But you sign up for that, and you'll be entered automatically to win this amazing 5-ounce piece.
Yeah, and when you go to the website, it gives us a little bit of background on us, the channel itself, things coming up, so on and so forth. But the very first thing that pops up is that add your email. Simply add your email, and we're not going to spam you, and we're not going to send you any risque photos either.
So, Paulie, I mean, maybe you might, but I won't, certainly. Yeah. Paulie, you were, before we got on the show, you were just telling me that you're looking at potentially offloading a couple of items. Not a lot, just a few items here and there, right?
A few items here and there that I could, if I wanted to, just let them sit on my desk and collect dust and wipe them off and look in beautiful pieces, man. But I've decided to just try and sell them, and going to get what I can get for them and turn that money into gold, something that I don't have to set on my desk and look at, and something that I'm just going to put away and not think about. And it's just something that I've been thinking about doing for quite a while. And I just decided, I think now is the time. We're getting into an election year. Things aren't really going to get much better that I can see in the near future. So why sit around on, I guess, what I could turn into a profit and do that instead of just sitting here looking at it. Now, that there are some things that I do really enjoy, and I will keep on the desk, but there's other things that there's a rule you got to make at some point in time when you're collecting, stacking, hoarding, flipping is never get attached, because at some point in time, you're going to want to try and sell the stuff. And that's kind of what this episode is going to be about, is who, how, where, what, when's a good time, what's a good price, where can I do it, so on and so forth, in many different ways that you and I both personally have sold, and ways that I haven't sold, and maybe you have sold, and others out there listening and watching have sold. And maybe people aren't even worried about selling, but maybe one day they may want to. And it's not just as easy as walking into your LCS. Maybe if he doesn't know who you are, you might not even know what you have to get rid of. And he might. So you got to keep yourself educated. And this is a good way, just a refresher or an idea of how to go about doing some of that stuff.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, you know, Pauly, when I first started out, I'll say that my buyer's muscle was way strong. You know, you buy, you just stacking and trying to collect every single piece, you know?
Yeah, it can get like everything that comes out looks really great.
Yeah.
Looks really great. And there's just so much that I got to tell myself, look, do we want to start another series? Do we want to start this series again? Can we take this one series coin and turn it into a couple rounds, or just save the money on that and put it towards the gold purchase I want to make?
Right.
There's got to be a line somewhere for everybody. And I get it. I do a lot of videos about different coin releases and all this stuff, but never in any of those videos I say rush out and buy it. There's a lot of people interested in that stuff that just don't know where to go to get it or when it's going to come out. So I like to do that information, but never do I say go out and buy every one of these things that I talk about.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, that's when I first started buying, or when I first started selling, actually. You know, I was doing my YouTube auctions. We'll talk about that a little bit. But I remember telling the audience, telling my viewers, you gotta get just as good at selling as you do at buying. Like you said, you know, that whole factor of not getting attached, that's really important. Like nothing in my stack doesn't have a price on it. Some of them might be way more than its real premium value.
Overpriced, sure.
Yeah, because that's how much I value it, but it has a price. You know what I mean? Sure. I'll offload it. But having an avenue to offload it means you're going to get top dollar compared to if you didn't. You know, if you've never sold anything. So this is anybody viewing. If you have a good silver stack and you've never sold a single item, technically you have no references. You got nobody that can point to you and say, yeah, he's a stand-up person. You know, he could definitely cut you a good deal. You could trust that it'll arrive. You can trust that it's real. It's authentic. You know, you want to build that rapport up. You're not going to build a rapport up if you're just holding your hoard and never letting it go. An emergency might come. You got to offload it. So we're here to talk today about some ways to offload your stack. And there are many avenues, but we're going to touch through really quickly, breeze through a bunch of them. Right. So
and I do get, and you probably get this as well, that there's people that might sit here and listen to us and say, I ain't looking to sell anything, but you know what? I like these guys and I like the way they sound, so I'm going to sit here and listen to them. We understand that there's so many different stackers, collectors, hoarders, whatever you want to call us out there, that it's not one size fits all for everybody.
Yeah. And, you know, even still, I would recommend at least try selling something one time, even if it's just your
for sure
ugly, cruddy buffalo round that you've been sitting on. Sell one of them, even if it's at a little bit of a loss.
Try it in all different platforms, right, that we're going to talk about. Just attempt it, right?
So first one, let's talk about local coin shops, or LCSs.
This is something that I'm not very familiar with whatsoever, and we've talked about that before. So this is one that I'm going to listen to you talk a little bit and see if I can learn something.
Right. So again, this is going to be very dependent on where you live. In some areas, like where Pauly lives, there's just no LCSs. In the area where I live, there are some, but they're really not the best. When I was down in Florida, there were some that were really good, easy to work with these people. You just walk in, you bring what you got. Sometimes they know what you have. Sometimes they know more about it than you do. Often that's the case, right? So the process for many beginners, right? You're going to find selling at a local coin shop being very convenient. Right. You don't have to go again. You could do a pawn shop. You're probably going to get way below melt for that. Coin shop, you're going to get closer to spot or sometimes even over spot if it is something that's a high premium piece. So you just want to visit your coin shop, get to know the person, bring your precious metals with you and show them what you got. You don't have to make the sale. Just see what they're going to price it at for you. And you can even shop around if you got a few of them
That's a
around
good
you,
point.
right?
That's kind of what I was gonna see if you touched on was you don't have to take it there and sell it necessarily. You can shop around. You pick up a phone and make phone calls and
Yeah.
see who's in your area, whether it's an hour drive, 45-minute drive.
Yep.
You may have 3 within 20 minutes of your house. I don't know everybody's situation, but that's definitely a good point, is to shop around for pricing, what they're
Right.
willing to pay for it.
And just like you said, you can call them up and say, "Hey, I got 3 tubes of maple leaves. What are you paying?" Right? And they'll tell you what they're going to give you for them. So the pros, right? The benefits of the LCS is that it's a quick and easy transaction. The cons are that you may not always get the highest price possible, because the shop does need to make a profit, right? These guys are coin
Yeah, lights,
dealers, and
bills to pay.
they got, yeah, exactly. They got bills to pay. So some LCSs, though, just be mindful. Some of them may take advantage of you if they can sense that you're kind of green. If you're not seasoned, if you're not using the right lingo, they might be able to smell that from a mile away. So just be careful that they don't take advantage of you. Just feel them out. And if you don't feel comfortable, walk away. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Yeah, and anybody buying precious metals, they should be familiar with something that's called the spot price. At least know that much going into it, because and I'm friends with people who actually own coin shops, but they're in different states, right? A friend of mine, SC Stacker, he opened up his own coin shop in South Carolina. And when you walk in, now again, I've never been there. This is just videos from him. He's showing you his buy prices. Everything's right there when you walk in. Now, I've never walked into one and seen stuff like that going on. So just be prepared to know at least what spot price is for the metal you're trying to offload that day.
Right on. All right. Next, we're going to talk about online dealers. So, Pauly, we had one queued up. I think this is companies like AppMex, JM Bullion,
Yes.
SD Bullion, Provident Metals, companies like that. Pauly, talk to me a little bit about that.
I'm going to bring up, if it just popped up now, let me bring this full screen and we can talk over it. So this is Provident Metals. I use them because I'm sure there are many sites that do this. It's just, this is one that I've found and stuck with. They will buy your metals back along with most other, if not all other online bullion dealers, except the only difference is they are showing us their buyback price for this point in the day, right? A lot of them, they say, call us for pricing. This is maybe one of the first ones that I found that give us pricing. So for instance, right at the top, Canadian Maple Leaf, 1 ounce silver, random year. So this can be any year. This is what they're offering today, $22.86. We have a spot price right now on Provident Metals of $22.78. So they are just over spot on what they want to buy that back from. What they are charging for that same silver is probably $4 over. We could probably look into that right quick, but you're not buying Canadian Maple Leaves at spot.
Right.
So for you to make some money on those Canadian Maple Leaves, as far as a profit of storing your wealth in the silver, you would have had to buy those for much cheaper than $20 an ounce. And it goes through all these other, just different varied condition random rounds. 1 ounce silver rounds, they're giving you below spot, $21.36. Now, I understand people listening to this right now are probably saying, well, that's just dumb. That's nuts. Why would you sell your stuff for that low of amount of money? I get you. What if somebody bought those silver rounds at $15 an ounce? Yeah, they're getting under spot. Maybe they don't have the opportunity to just drive down the street and dump it off to the LCS.
Right.
So this is a way they have to go about doing it. It's a buyback program, which is I still think is really great, even though some may not think the prices are where they should be.
Yeah. And the pros of this is that you could potentially get competitive pricing, right? The method that they do it, right? You'll submit the details about the items that you have. You're going to receive an offer from Provident. Then you're going to ship your items, and it doesn't have to be Provident, whatever the company is. You ship your items out to them, and you get paid. So it's relatively easy. You don't even need to leave your home. But the cons to that is that sometimes they do require insurance or some certain type of shipping, which may cost more. They won't usually pay for that. That's going to be on you.
That's right.
And,
that's on
and
you.
the process can take a little bit longer than a local option, right? So you also have to be cautious. of
That's
scam
100% true.
websites. Sorry, go ahead, man.
No. You're right. I mean, if you're in a pinch and you need the money now, the online sellback is probably not the best bet for you. But if you are not, and you like these prices and you like these companies that you've been buying from all these years and want to sell back to them, that's something that they do offer, and it is available to everybody that's out here.
Right on. Well, thanks for bringing that up, man. That's a great example, Provident Metals, and I think they are a subsidiary of JM.
Yes.
Fantastic company, guys.
Yes.
If you want to sponsor us, please feel free to reach out to me or Pauly. All right, so guys,
in the description.
Again, we're talking about ways to offload or sell your precious metals. So the next one up is online websites. So this can be like your own website or an Etsy shop, a Shopify, right?
Your Amazon account.
Amazon account. Yeah. So this method, guys, is a little bit more difficult, right? Here's the process. It takes a little work. It does take work. You're going to list all of your items one by one. You have to put your own description. You got to set up your own prices. And the risk in this is that, if spot price fluctuates and it's a cheaper item like a round, you got to be on it to change the pricing, because that spot can shift overnight. So the other thing is to set up those the payment methods. Not so much a big deal on Etsy or Shopify, but if you have your own website, you've got to figure out how you're going to be processing those payments.
Yep.
So the pros on this is, once your website's built up or the templates are already set up, it's kind of like a set it and forget it, like a George Foreman grill of precious metals and bullion, right? Most of the payment processing, again, with Shopify or Etsy, it's already set up for you. The cons on the flip side of that is that it might take months or even longer for an item to sell. So you might have something sitting up there for a year and a half before a specific collector who's looking for that exact piece stumbles upon your website. Again, another big risk. What if people don't even find your website, right? They're going to they're going to typically lean towards, if they're going online looking for the thing, they're going to go towards APMEX, JM Bullion, Bull Precious Metals. They're not going to look for whatever your website name is unless they know you.
Exactly. You go into Google, type in precious metals, I can almost guarantee one of the first ones going to pop up is going to be APMEX. And that's just where people are going to click. They're not going to find Paulybuck's precious metal emporium.net,
.biz.
Yeah, .biz.
Like yeah, so those are important factors. Another con, again, with Etsy and Shopify, is that there are seller fees. You sell an item, it's on their platform, they're going to take a cut. Taxman always takes his bit, right?
Do we want to throw eBay in this mix as well?
Actually, eBay's in my next section. So glad you brought that up.
Right, let's just roll right into that. eBay is another huge worldwide seller site, and you can sell anything from a toothpick to 1 ounce gold coin to autograph good, anything you can think of. You can find it on eBay, except the 90-year anniversary Detroit Lions hat. I cannot find on there, and I am looking for it, but I ain't about to pay $60 for it. So if you're out there, my address is in the description.
I can get you one made if you want. I mean, I think there's Alibaba or AliExpress.
I don't need no knockoff either. I want it to fit right and at least not fall apart within a year.
There you go.
eBay, huge seller. Now, you're going to know more about, because Emil has his own. Is it a storefront or is it not a storefront?
I mean, I've got a profile that I've had up since 2004, and I mean, I have thousands of transactions here and there. It wasn't all precious metals, but yeah.
So for having it that long, have they given you any type of price break as far as the percentage after the sale? Because what is it, about 13.5%, depending on what you're selling? Right?
I don't know, man. I just pull my pants down and turn around. They have their way with you. So again, this is not just.
But again, oh shit, sorry. I yelled it right into the mic. But again,
man,
they have your way with you, but it's a way to sell your metals. Number one, and it's
exposure.
It's exposure. It's not as easy as it sounds, because you still have to be seen. You have to build up a reputation. It's just like any online selling. If you're the person trying to sell to somebody else, and I have the number 6 next to my name, and Emil has the number 20,000, and we're $10 apart, myself, I would probably go and look at Emil's first and look at his ratings and his feedback and all that stuff and say, look, this guy's got thousands of transactions. This guy's just starting out. I'm just going to play the safe bet and buy it from this guy, pay the extra $10, right?
You're right. You're right.
So it's very, very difficult. Anybody can do it, but it's very, very difficult.
You're right. I'll tell you. So something nice about eBay, and so this category is auction website. So it's not only eBay; it's like Whatnot or things like that. Yep. So one cool thing about eBay, and this is kind of like I don't know if it's newer, but it seems newer to me because I recently started looking for it or started using it. It's if you see an item, Pauly, pull a silver item up that you have on your desk, any one of them. Okay, so you have, what is that? The Year of the Tiger.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you eBay search Year of the Tiger Lunar Round 2022, right? And it comes up. If you scroll to the bottom of that listing, at the very bottom, it says, sell one like this, right? Yep. All you have to do is click that and it auto-populates everything. You put your own photos. You can custom tailor your description. The coolest thing is they just added this feature. You can add the description using AI.
Yep.
And it writes it all for you. And it knows the details because it pulls it right off the internet. So that's kind of freaking cool.
It is. Proofread it. Definitely proofread it. Yeah.
Make sure it's not BS, but yeah, it's pretty good. So I can have an item listed that used to take me 10 minutes. Yep. Now you can do it in about a minute and a half.
Yep.
So that's kind of awesome. So cool thing about that is that they allow you to auction your precious metals, right? You could set a starting price and the potential buyers will place their bids and the highest bidder will win your item. Pros, right? The pros are there's a potential for competitive pricing.
Yes.
People are going to look and they're going to see what it typically goes for. So they're going to like bid it up to at least around there, right? Yep. And you have control over the set price too. So you can actually put a reserve pricing in. So that's kind of
cost you an extra fee.
It does cost you a fee. Promoting it, which I often do, also costs an extra fee. That means that if somebody searches for that item, it pops up at the top.
Which that's not terrible. I've done that before. It's a couple bucks, but it gets you traction. It puts you in front of so many more people to have the opportunity to sell. So, but that's part of being competitive on eBay. There's so many people that do it. There's so many of your same coin out there that it gives you possibly just a little bit more advantage of somebody looking for that particular item.
All right. So let's talk about the cons real quick.
Yes.
The fees. Those fees are awful. They are really high. And I think they give you a break once you start selling a whole lot. So you kind of have to play the cards because you look at either you're going to get the exposure, get the bids and be able to sell it for a little more on eBay. And then they take their cut, or you can turn around and try to sell it elsewhere for a little less. So I don't know.
And also starting out, and this happened to me twice because I had a really good account for a while. Something happened. I couldn't get back into it. So I had to start over, and that's where I'm at now. Right. So what happens is you can't just take an item as far as just having an account. Now, as far as a storefront or paying, $25 or $30 a month to have that eBay sellers, so on and so forth, whatever they describe it as, I'm limited to, or you're going to be limited to like 5 sales per month, no more than $500. And they hold your money. They hold that sale until the item has been delivered, and up to 3 days after that item has been delivered to the buyer, so that the buyer still has a chance to turn around and say, this isn't what I bought. This isn't what the description says. I'm sending this thing back. And then eBay still has a chance to take that money you haven't ran with and give it back refund back to the buyer. So pro, yes, anybody can do it. It's not easy. Con, it's not quick. They're not quick transactions starting out.
So 2 things to that last point you said there, and that's very, very valid, man. The other thing is buyers can claim that they never received your package, and eBay will always side with the buyer. So just be cautious of that. So you kind of have to have proof that you actually did what you did. I can't even tell you if it's like an item worth more than $250, I will video record myself packaging I show the coin.
And we talked about that, and I actually just did this with my last sale.
You got to be careful. You got to be careful. But I will say, once you gain enough traction and you become an eBay trusted seller, they don't hold your funds for too long. Like they'll cash them out to you before you've even shipped it. So it's not too bad. You just got to get there.
Yeah, it all takes work. It's not like I don't want to say that anything's easy, because it's not. Because the next one I think that you're going to trickle into might include Instagram, Facebook.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Before that, there's a couple more items. Precious metal refineries.
Okay.
I've never sold to them before, but I know a lot of coin shops do. A lot of what's it called? Pawn shops do as well. Pawn shops.
So these refinery scrappers.
Scrappers, and they'll take anything. They'll take jewelry. They'll take your sterling silver, whatever, your cutlery, all that stuff, and they'll scrap it. Right. So the refiners buy your precious metals to melt it down and recycle it, turn it into pure bullion or whatever. Okay. So you'll send them your item. They assess the metal content, and then you receive payment for that. The pro to it is that you can actually get pretty close to spot, maybe a little under spot for the metal content. Right. The con side is that they won't consider the collectability or the numismatic value of any coins that you're sending them. So if your item is worth more than spot, you really don't want to be sending it. If it's generic bullion and spot shoots through the roof, that might be a good opportunity to cash in using this method. Again, I've never used it before, but if you have, throw something in the comments, let us know. Yeah.
Yeah, let us know. But yeah, that's definitely something to look into for sure.
Right. So if it is collectible, again, consider selling it directly to an investor or a collector, which brings us to our next item, peer-to-peer sales.
Yes.
Pauly, have you ever made any peer-to-peer sales?
Multiple peer-to-peer sales.
Talk to me.
I don't do much anymore. I believe we've been on some of the same sites, whether it's Facebook, Instagram. There are lots and lots of private, and I'm not talking about Facebook Marketplace. It's almost like Craigslist really anymore. I'm talking about private Facebook groups. I've talked about a couple on my own channel that I've trusted in, and actually I wouldn't be talking about if I didn't trust them. But there are sites that have 10,000, 15,000, couple thousand, 20,000 people on these sites looking to buy and sell precious metals. Now, some of those sites do get some scammers mixed in, and you have to be careful. And this is where you can build a great seller's reputation across two different platforms, whether it's Facebook and Instagram. So many people are on both platforms dealing with precious metals. Sean being one of them. We've had him on here. Great guy. Great reputation. You can list your items there, right? Well, when I first got into them, it used to be you could join the site, but then you had to be a member of that site and just watch the way transactions were done, involve yourself, by liking different things or so on and so forth. But they wouldn't allow you to sell until after 30 days of your membership. And it's not you're not paying a membership, just being part of that club, that group. And again, there's probably 20 of them that I'm part of, right? But I watch for different things. I just don't sell anymore.
Right.
So that takes time. And I remember my very, very first sale. It was a pain in the ass. Somebody wanted the item, but they didn't know who the hell I was. They didn't know if they were going to be able to trust me with this. And we actually worked out a plan where I said, okay, send me half the money. I will send you the item. You get the item. So now I'm putting trust in the seller or the buyer as me, the seller, but also quote unquote brokered through a moderator within that group. So he was seeing everything happening as it was happening. I'm messaging him, tracking numbers, stuff like that, so that he has a paper trail of everything I'm doing, just to make sure that this sale goes through as planned. Right.
Yep.
So that's again, awesome. It's building a reputation, and one bad mark on your reputation can ruin you as far as a seller. And that's just the way, because there's so many people that sell. There are so many people that sell that they can go anywhere else.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. Do you remember DOA, our buddy? We used to run that company, the Metal Merchant.
Yeah, great.
It was a fun ride. We had a guy on the show on a pre-show, Vertical Stacker. If you guys remember him, check him out. Really cool channel.
Great guy.
He's a great guy, just a stand-up dude. There was a period of time when silver shot up to about $30, $31, something like that, while we were running the metal merchant company. And we had Vertical on, and he was explaining to us that in that period of time, he actually had like a truckload with boxes and boxes of American Silver Eagles. And he just pulled up to the corner and people were lining up and buying the stuff from him. And again, this is locally, right? So in his region of the US, people understand the value of silver. And that was something that was moving real easy for him. If you try to do that where I live, it probably wouldn't work too well. So it's really like a regional thing. Sure. But going back to peer-to-peer sales, really the process behind it is that you can directly sell to other individuals in person or through an online platform like Pauly was mentioning. You negotiate the terms and you can complete the transaction. So like, what's that? OfferUp. You ever heard of that website? OfferUp or Craigslist even, anything like that?
Familiar with Craigslist, OfferUp, and I am not familiar with, no.
So it's just an online retailing, like picture it like Facebook Marketplace, right? People sell stuff that they've got. So you post something on there, like you post your tube of American Silver Eagles. And somebody says, yeah, I want to buy that from you. Okay, here's how much I'm charging. All right, cool. Let's meet at
gotcha.
Location XYZ and we'll do the exchange, right? So I did this. The first time I purchased something was off of OfferUp, and it was a 500-gram bar of silver. And I got it $200 cheaper than it actually was, which blew my mind. So I thought maybe this thing was fake. Took it to a coin shop. It was legit. It was all real. So that was fantastic. But that's just a way that you can buy this stuff. Another time I bought like a whole box of American Silver Eagles for like $700. Really, it was probably closer to about $3,000 worth of silver. The guy said he found it in a wall while he was doing remodeling, and he just wanted to get rid. Yeah, so Florida, man, people tuck stuff in any wall. I don't know,
right?
Probably dead bodies in half of them, but anyway. So the pros to this, right? The pros to these peer-to-peer sales is there's a potential for a higher price, right? Because the people know what they're buying from you, etc. So that direct negotiation allows you to negotiate a better price. The con. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to touch on that before you got into that $3,000 worth of silver for $7. It's a chance for you to retain some of the premium because peer-to-peer people know what they're buying, right? And they know they're buying it from another person looking that really needs to sell it, that actually needs that money for something, that some reason at that point in time, and they're willing to help that way instead of going to the online bullion dealer to support them. They're supporting their peers.
Right.
You are able in some cases to retain some of that high premium that you've put into that silver or gold.
Right on. Yeah, and so the cons, the downside to it is that it does require more effort for you to find the buyers. You can't always find the buyers, right? And most importantly, for anybody trying to sell these precious metals peer-to-peer is the security factor, right? So safety precautions are crucial.
Safety for sure.
For any places, kind of,
if you're meeting somebody, don't police just hop in a car in an alley somewhere.
Yeah, usually local police stations have like peer-to-peer sale locations in their parking lot that have cameras everywhere. That's probably the safest place to do it. Just make sure you're not selling anything illicit there. Yeah. but
don't
last guys, again, this is the Crucible, and today's topic is selling your precious metals, right? Last topic, this is kind of all encompassing. This is going to be social media platforms, different social media platforms and their benefits and how to leverage them, etc. Our experiences with them if we've had them.
Yeah.
Pauly, you and I, we both have YouTube channels and we have TikTok. Talk to me what you know about buying and selling on YouTube or TikTok.
I've never really sold on YouTube I have a membership on my channel and I do private pre-sales to members. So I've sold actually a lot there, and it's all pre-sale. It's all buy it now. It's stuff that I don't have in my hands. This is stuff we've talked about before. That is, it can get risky because now you're talking about sending, and it doesn't just have to be me. You're sending somebody else your money. In return, they have to give you a product or refund your money, right? You have to trust the postal service that they are going to deliver on their end, that you put it in the postal office. Now it's got to get to them before any sale's final. You got to make sure that happens, right? As far as TikTok, I'm just there. I can't figure it out. So I've never sold anything there. My biggest platforms was, as I said, Facebook, Instagram. I've never sold on either. I've never monkeyed with it. It just seems so saturated.
Yeah,
it seems very, very, and probably because that's really all I follow is other silver and gold stackers and influencers and stuff like that. There are tons of people that sell on all those platforms. YouTube, there's so many auctions. TikTok, there's so many. They do live streams, so they're almost like an auction. Instagram, they're every single day there's something going on. Find a trusted one. We've had a few on here. Check them out.
Yep. So to touch on all of those real quick, the YouTube and TikTok, if you did want to build one, if you wanted to make your online auction, like Pauly said, it could be saturated, but you know what? What's a little friendly competition?
Yeah.
So,
no, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. I mean, you can make a YouTube channel and put live silver and gold auction and see how it goes. And eventually over time, it's going to build itself up. It is. And that just gives you another avenue for selling your precious metals.
John DOA used to tell me, he used to ask me, what's our unique selling proposition? And I think about that term all the time. If you've got something better to offer, some better method of delivering it, dude, you could smoke everybody that's already out there, right? So what you do, you create a YouTube or TikTok channel, you go live with your auction or buy it now style format. The buyer pays you and you ship it. It's that simple. It is a very simple method. If I ever really needed money quickly, I would take a whole bunch of stuff, make my inventory list, and I would just do an online auction and sell what I could. It's an easy way to make a few $100 if you needed to do that, right?
Sure.
Facebook groups, which you just brought up, right?
Yep.
So you join the group, or you can create your own private group specifically for buying and selling precious metals, right? You advertise the items, you negotiate with your potential buyers, and you arrange a transaction, right? Something to consider there is that you want to ensure that you're complying with any of the rules or guidelines that the group or that Facebook has in place, right? So transactions should be done securely, preferably in person if you can. But if you can't, like he said, just pray to God that the mail actually delivers your product. And do it through a trusted payment method. I can't tell you how many times I've been screwed over by Cash App, because you send some money through Cash App. They're not going to refund you if it's a scammer, right? So be cautious of those scammers.
And I've seen it, and a lot of people do fall for it. I've known people that fall for it. You see their Facebook profile, and all of a sudden they send you their Cash App information, and now you're getting ready to send them the money, and you're looking at, well, this name isn't matching this person here. And, you message them privately through the Facebook group and you say, what's up with this, man? This isn't lining up. And they give you a big, long story about, that's actually me, or that's my brother-in-law because something happened. So just be careful.
Just don't mess with it. Don't mess with it.
Yeah.
I think I got scammed out of almost $2,000 through Cash App. It was awful. I was stupid, man. Made a mistake.
No, that ain't fun. That ain't fun at all.
You mentioned Instagram. Real quick to talk about that. Easiest way to do it, you create your Instagram account dedicated to selling precious metals, or it doesn't have to be. It can be precious metals and chickens like mine, right?
Right.
You showcase your item, post stories about it, whatever, and use any relevant hashtags that you can think of, or use search engine optimization programs to find the hashtags to help you reach those potential buyers or potential followers, right? Some considerations, right? Direct messaging can be used for communication, but the finalization of the transaction should be done securely. I would be cautious with how you do those transactions. Again, trusted sellers are important. Like Pauly said, it is pretty saturated, but there are a handful on there that you can trust. They're not going to screw you over because they've been around a while. They've got probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars of transactions under their belts. Tommy is one, Sean D'Souza another one, AG Stacking. There's so many that I can't even mention them all, but there's a lot of them, right? So be transparent about the condition and details of the items as well. So if there's little scratches or mars on it, if packaging is screwed up, make sure you pay attention to that too, and you mention it to your buyer. I've got a couple more, Pauly. I personally don't have any experience in Twitter. I don't really mess with Twitter, but I know that
it's called X now.
Oh, X.
That's as much as I know about it.
Right. So I know you can tweet about your precious metals, right? You use, again, relevant hashtags, and you can engage with the potential buyers through direct messaging or replies. Some considerations on that one are just to be cautious about sharing your personal information publicly. Direct transactions should be handled securely. And you may want to consider using other trusted payment options. Personally, I like Zelle because it goes directly to my bank account. But if you were to use one that is reversible, I would say PayPal Goods and Services. And if you're a seller, using PayPal Goods and Services, sometimes you can bake that 3.5% fee into the total cost. I think there may be some clause saying that you can't do that, like you can't bump up the price. But if it's the price is the price is the price is the price. If it's a $28 coin and you're using PayPal Goods and Services as your payment method, charge $30, right?
Yeah.
So big freaking deal, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, Reddit. Have you used Reddit before? I know you're on Reddit.
There's some forums I'm part of, but that's basically for knowledgeable information or see what the latest fuss is all about. No, I've never bought, never sold.
I have not either. And I know there's other forums as well, like the Silver Forum. I don't know if you've been on that website either. So it's just a forum that's basically like a Reddit, but just for precious metals. You can buy, sell, trade. They do giveaways and stuff like that. But Reddit, again, is another platform. Yeah, Reddit's another platform. So to participate in any of the subreddits related to the precious metals and numismatics, that's kind of how you get into those. You were talking about subreddits. That just means it's almost like a slash and then whatever, like silver, right? You can advertise your items in accordance with their rules, and you engage with the potential buyers through the comments or private messages, just like with the other social media methods as well. They do have specific guidelines for buying and selling. Just make sure that you're being compliant.
Follow them. Definitely follow them, because it's an avenue of buying and selling. You don't want to get booted out of it.
So the last one I have is LinkedIn. Do you have a LinkedIn account, Pauly?
Nope.
Okay, so I do, and if you know anything about LinkedIn, it's like a professional website. It's almost like a social media resume, right? So it's about your job, things you've done, whatever. But you can have a specific page, right, or a specific company if you have a company. So let's say I don't know, when I was running Metal Merchant, I could make a Metal Merchant company, and then you advertise your products on there. And it's just a way to reach other people, not necessarily to do direct sales through there, but kind of to funnel people towards your other
towards where you want to be doing your sales.
Right. So because it is a professional platform, you want to make sure you maintain professionalism in your interactions, and the transactions should still be done securely, probably on some other website. I wouldn't do them through direct messaging on there.
Right.
That's what I got, man. You got anything else?
The only thing I've got it sitting here in front of me, is if you are into collectible U.S. mint coins, make sure you have one of these so you can stay. Now, this is a 2022, but you stay up to date on what the value based on this book is for. So if you're sitting on a stack of slabbed Morgan, slab peace dollars, and it's time for you to take them in somewhere, let's just go back to the local coin shop, you've got a pretty good idea of what the value of that particular piece is. I'm not saying they're going to give you the value of that particular piece, but you have an idea in your head that, okay, it's a peace dollar. They're raw. Let's just say they're raw. You're buying them for $20 a piece, but you have a graded 65. That's going to be worth a little bit more than $20 a piece. Now they may try and buy them from you for that, and you can always say no, but the red book is a great item to have, especially if you're doing any type of coin roll hunting and you happen to find something, and it's like you might have found something that's worth a little bit of money, but definitely something good to have.
And as you mentioned, local coin shops, they use those. They use that. They use the gray sheet. That's like a standard for them. So before they're going to quote you a price, they're going to look it up and see what they think it should be charged for. It should be priced at.
Sure.
Right on. Cool, man. Well, guys,
that is selling your precious metals in a nutshell.
And now, if you as the viewers have any other thoughts, any other ideas or methods that you've sold or purchased that we did not mention, please throw it in the description. I'd love to hear it.
Hell yes.
That's all I got.
That's all I got. All right, man. That was a good one. And we appreciate you all for viewing, watching, listening. Leave us some comments below. Leave us some messages on our website of things that you might want to hear us talk about in the future.
And we'll catch you on the flip side.
Check you on the next one, buddy.